My best pickups of 2023. Now, this isn't new release pickups. This is just personal grails that I have acquired over 2023. And you know, what's funny is I was watching Sneakernomics doing his favorite content creator shout out video, and he was talking about my collection and how my collection has just fluctuated so much over 2023. I've went through tons and tons of different grails. I really got heavy in the trade block and trading shoes, and my collection was just a revolving door of different grails. First up now, I'm going to get into some honorable mentions. Pairs that I don't have anymore that I had throughout 2023. First up would definitely be the Zoo Yorks. The Zoo Yorks, I have loved that pair ever since I was a kid when I used to skateboard in middle school. If you guys don't know, I'm 31 years old, so middle school was a long time ago for me. Unfortunately, there are some trades that I regret this year, and the Zoo Yorks is probably one of those trades that I regret. I ended up trading 3 pairs of off-whites to Casa Souls for his pair. I'm a true size 9, 9.5, and these were at 8.5. They were also dead stock, so they were a little on the small side, plus they were dead stock. So I didn't really want to rip that lace bag off and wear them. In a trade for my Dior highs. Now, I was originally going to get the Dior lows. I've always been a lows person, Dunks, Jordan 1 lows. I was never a huge fan of Jordan 1 highs. I just don't like high tops. I have a few high tops, but it's never been my favorite thing. So I went to New York Got Soul, and I had worked out a trade with my boy for his Dior 1 lows. He happened to have the highs as well. He told me, you know, pick whichever you want and we'll get it done. So I ended up grabbing the highs. Once I got them in hand a little bit and I really started to think about it, I just realized how overhyped this shoe really was. It's a basic Jordan 1, basic gray Jordan 1 with some Dior branding on it, and that's really all it was. Long story short, I ended up trading my Diors for Louis Vuitton Air Forces and Off-White 4s, and then I traded my Louis Vuitton Air Forces for Heineken's, Blue Lobsters, and Travis Mocha Lows. Extremely good trade. So out of those Diors, I ended up getting 4 good pairs that I'm very happy with. So now my stupidest trade of 2023. Go! And I know you guys are gonna come for me in the comments. That's fine, I can take it. You know, I've never been one to get my feelings hurt over a couple of comments, but I traded my core lines. Now core lines, I ended up getting them OG all, size 9.5 for $800 on eBay, which was an insanely good price. The market for that size and condition is right around $1,000, so it was a pretty good deal, I'm not gonna lie. Now, the Louis Vuitton Air Forces, I've had the red and I've had the blue this year. Me personally, like I said, I'm not big on designer shoes, but I do like Virgil and I do like Off-White. I feel like he is such an icon in sneakers. And this was such a special pair because it was one of the last pairs that he created before he died. Compared to the Dior's, the Louis Vuitton Air Forces are so much better. They have all these little details to them. I love how they did the Louis Vuitton logo imprint all over the shoe. RIP to Virgil, man. That was one of my favorite Off-Whites, and if I can, I'm definitely gonna get the blue or the green pair back in the collection. Day of the Deads is one of my favorite SBs of all time. I had a pair in the collection. I recently got rid of them not too long ago. I do not regret getting rid of them because the pair that I got rid of them for was the What the Dunks. And I mean, come on. What the Dunks, Day of the Deads. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Now, let's get into the shoes that I do have. These are the Air Yeezy 2 Pure Platinum Dunks. These are the Air Yeezy 2 Pure Plats, man. After my solars crumbled, I was just on a mission to get another pair of Air Yeezy 2s back in the collection. I feel like the Air Yeezys are such an iconic shoe, whether you like Yee or not. I was actually really lucky to get a good wearable pair. Bubbles are good, midsoles are good, super crispy pair. Next up, if you guys have watched my channel for longer than a year, you know that at the beginning of this year, I made a promise to myself that I would get the Doernbecher 4s in the collection. The Doernbecher 4s. So that's my got them in the collection. I ended up getting a really clean pair. Midsoles are good, bubbles are good. These are 100% wearable. Really the only flaw with these is there's a little bit of paint chipping on the midsole. That's really about it, but there's not even a lot of yellowing on these. Definitely one of the best Doernbecher shoes of all time, and I'll even go as far as to say one of the best Jordan 4s of all time. Super happy to have these in the collection. Now, another pair that I wasn't expecting to get this year are the gray Cos 4s. I had the black pair. I ended up trading them in the beginning of the year. I wasn't really a fan of the black pair. I felt like the black pair is just super basic. You really can't see the Cos logo all over the shoe that good. And honestly, I just feel like they're a glorified black cat. I personally feel like this shoe is a work of art. You got the Cos hands all over the shoe. You got the Cos logo in the back, and then you got the glow-in-the-dark soles, and you even got the Cos hands on the soles. Another pair, the Supreme Stars Highs in the blue colorway. My personal favorite out of the three. I'm not a big fan of the red. The orange and the blue, I feel like, are the two best out of the pack. A lot of pairs of these you see on the market and they're just beat to shit. I really lucked out getting such a crispy pair. There's not a lot of creasing and there's literally no star loss on these at all, which is crazy. I want to do an honorable mention because at the beginning of 2023, one of my biggest goals was to complete the lobster pack. Now, I'm not talking about white or yellow. I'm just talking about the GR releases: purple, blue, red, green, and orange. And lobsters have been extremely hyped ever since the orange pair dropped, and they are very difficult to get anymore, to really, especially the older pairs. Starting out the year, I already had orange and green and blue, so I was on the hunt for red and purple this year. Purple was pretty easy to get. I had to pay some tax on them, and then red, I really had to search for red. So once I had the pack complete and I kind of sat with it for a while, I ended up getting rid of just about most of my lobsters. The blue pair I had was trashed. I was actually able to get a pretty crispy pair of the blue back in the collection. Next up, the CPFMs. Now, this is my second pair of CPFMs this year. I had a dead stock pair early on 2023 that I ended up trading. I stumbled upon a guy at Got Soul. He had like 6 pairs of these and he let me try them on, and you know, the more I looked at them and held them and saw them on foot, I was not leaving there without them. This shoe, I feel like some like it, some don't. It's either hit or miss with these. Me personally, I feel like this shoe is such a work of art. I feel like everything CPFM does is just completely different than your average collab. Plus, these really turn heads on foot. And we got the Heinekens. Now, I did have another pair of Heinekens this year, but the pair I had, they were terrible. They were very slick on the bottom. I tried to wear them somewhere once and I almost fell and busted my ass. With older SBs, you know, they don't crumble like an Air Yeezy would or Jordan 4 would. They start to get very slick on the bottoms. They start to lose their grip as they age, and eventually they start to crack, and then eventually they'll just break in half. The pair of Heinekens that I had, they were at that point where they were ready to just break in half. Me personally, I just feel like the Heinekens are such an iconic shoe. These are used, obviously. There's a little bit of fading, but on the soles, there's literally almost no star loss, which is crazy. Last, but definitely not least, the What the Dunks. This shoe is definitely my #1 grail. It doesn't get much better than this for me. This is definitely the ultimate dunk right here. This is a pair that will never leave my collection. I have spent so much time looking for these. I've been to so many different sneaker shows, coming out of there pissed off because I wasn't able to find a pair. So the relief of actually finally having these in my collection and holding these, honestly, it doesn't get much better than that. Now, these are obviously used, but they are a pretty clean pair. They actually had sole protectors on since they were undead stocked by the original owner. So there's no star loss, no drag or dirt on these soles at all. I feel like this is definitely my peak right here.